There's no doubt about it, Tuscany is gorgeous. The landscape, food, and wine captivates visitors from all over the world. It's also home to the grape Sangiovese, which headlines some of Italy's most sought-after wines. Join me on a journey through southern Tuscany and meet two of Italy's finest Sangiovese producers in the villages of Montepulciano and Montalcino. Grab a glass as the hunt for great wine starts right now. It's harvest time when I arrive in Montepulciano, and thankfully, Avignonesi's vineyard manager, Alessio, offers to show me around.
I'm lucky. I won't be able to run a conventional vineyard. Since we started with the biodynamic, we started to work in the vineyard for real. To use all this preparation and all this practice, you need to have a very straight relationship with the vineyard. So you need to be in the field, you need to look at what's going on.
So is Sangiovese actually any different here than it is in maybe Chianti Classico or Montalcino?
In Montepulciano, our Sangiovese, it's very soft, I would say, and well balanced. Here in Montepulciano we have a nice difference in between the day temperature and the night temperature. There's a sort of sweetness as well at the very beginning of your mouth. I think the way that it has been called the Vino Nobile or the Prugnolo Gentile, all those words remind a very gentle, a very soft Sangiovese.
Now it's time to check out the Sangiovese, which tends to grow unevenly.
You can find 350 grams bunches or 110 grams bunches. It's very huge. Probably the thing that doesn't help the Sangiovese to spread all over the world.
It's my first time in Tuscany during the harvest period. I think it gives you such a better understanding of the wine when you see all the real differences in between vineyards and how the grapes actually taste. I love Sangiovese so much. It's the first time actually tasting it close to harvest. It really gives you a profound appreciation for the difficulties of making great wine.
Avignonesi is a larger estate, but they start their fermentations with pied de cuve, a winemaker's equivalent to a sourdough bread starter. This technique is often associated with small, artisanal producers.
We took some bunches, we crushed them, and we let them ferment it by themselves. Those yeast will be the ones who carry on the fermentation.
So this one's all set to go, right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
In the lab, Duis shows me how they monitor the yeast cells using technology.
This thing here? Yes, so we know that our starter is good enough to
be powerful enough to finish
Exactly.
the fermentation.
Basically, if you have bad bacteria, bad yeast in the pied de cuve, you throw it out and then you start a new one. Is that right?
Exactly.
Those kind of that kind of approach give you an idea of how a big estate can still manage things with nature.
Now it's my turn to look.
Okay, so I haven't looked in a microscope since probably high school. No, university.
You have a budding cell.
The cool thing about working like this in a lab is you never have to get dressed for work.
No, as you can see.
We stopped for a late lunch in the town of Cortona. I never get sick of learning about new pasta, including this local specialty known as bici.
I'm excited to try this, and I love that there's a chili in it. I know Italian food's brilliant, but if there was just a little more chili in it, I think it would just elevate it. This pasta almost reminds me a little bit of the pasta with Bottarga in Sardinia.
So I know a lot of times on the channel I'm showing you kind of exclusive experiences with winemakers, wine producers, but today I'm going to go on a general tour.
In addition to producing great Sangiovese, Avignonesi is known for producing some of Tuscany's finest Vin Santo. This sweet wine literally translates to holy wine and is made from dried grapes.
I gotta catch up with the group. Not used to being on group tours and wineries.
The visit includes a walk through the cellar, followed by my favorite part, a wine pairing lunch with some of Avignonesi's finest bottles.
If you've never had real balsamico, real like fresh vinaigrette, I never had when I was growing up. I think people are astonished about how sweet it is. It's actually more fruity and sweet than it is savory.
Now it's time to sip on some wine and chow down.
It's like sweet potato, tomato, two of my favorite things. Something about tomatoes in Tuscany, I'm telling you.
I never get enough Sangiovese, and this bottle is from a vineyard we checked out during the tour. It's one of the wines paired with the gnocchi.
I always get so excited when I come to Tuscany. Sangiovese. Really interesting with this gnocchi.
Rich dishes like this pair well with aged Sangiovese, like Avignonesi's Grandianate.
I have to say, Grandianate is showing a lot better than when I tasted it about 6-7 months ago.
It's a wine that when somebody tastes it, doesn't find it as fresh as the other two. It finds it a little bit more closed, more round, more ready to drink.
Fish and red wine. So creamed cod. I guess the chef knows what she's doing because I think the Griffey with the Cabernet goes a lot better with this. I think it's pretty good actually.
Sangiovese blends well, pairs well with almost everything. By the glass, with a slice of pizza, pasta, with some meat. You can even have it with salads. It's always something very pleasant.
Next, the dessert, paired with Vin
And
Santo.
you finish with dark chocolate with Mondon salt.
The fried sage, the cream, and everything is working so far with the Vinsanto. Got some chocolate with some salt and the Occhio di Panice. I think it should work the best. The salt and the acidity from the Occhio di Panice lift, and it adds this funny tension, almost like the candy Pop Rocks. You get that sensation where things are popping in the mouth. That's what I get with this.
Today's a special day as I head to the village of Montalcino. I've got an appointment at one of Italy's legendary estates.
The more you learn, the better you can perhaps be at tweaking little things, which is what the Biondi Santi family has always done.
I meet Lene in Montalcino for lunch. She's the marketing and communications manager for Biondi Santi, the pioneer of Italy's famous red wine, Brunello di Montalcino. We have a traditional Tuscan lunch that includes pici with wild boar. Man, I can't get enough of this stuff. All of the food goes great with Biondi Santi's entry-level wine, the Rosso di Montalcino. This on the nose is everything I want in Sangiovese. Seriously, like sour cherry, a little bit of earth, pepper. I always want tangerine peel like acidity in Sangiovese. This is honestly the type of wine I probably want to drink every single day because it's so easy to drink, but it has enough going on to make you, to challenge you a little bit.
This is the wine where people meet Biondi Santi, usually. Also younger people, they don't start with the Brunello, obviously.
Just outside Montalcino is the estate of Biondi Santi. Sabine, the head sommelier, greets me and walks me through some of the history.
When was the first vintage of official Brunello?
1888 with Ferruccio Biondi Santi.
November 1970. I like to see this because my dad got me into National Geographic. That is cool.
The estate is like a little museum, complete with a wonderful collection of previous vintages. Biondi Santi doesn't usually show this room to the public, so you're getting an insider look. Now it's time for the best part, to taste through the range of wines. Sabine prepares the wines for Lene, myself, and Giampiero, who is the CEO of Biondi Santi. Biondi Santi was sold to a French firm a few years ago, so I'm anxious to pick Giampiero's brain.
What's basically the vision for Biondi Santi?
The vision is very simple. We want to keep increasing the quality, if possible, by keeping the same style of the house, based on freshness, of longevity, of fragrances, which is not easy given also the global warming. And so we are working a lot with the soil to restore the organic substrate.
I've been fortunate enough to taste nearly all of Italy's iconic wines, but for some reason, the wines of Biondi Santi have eluded me. Today, that's about to change.
I believe that a great Sangiovese plays a lot on finesse and elegance.
Well, here it is. So it's my first time having the Biondi Santi Brunello. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. I think, and I even did a couple videos on it where I was tasting blind. I think you could always pick out Brunello because just the tobacco, the sweet cedar, the mahogany notes with the sour cherry, and I guess when I taste it, tannins are what's so important to me when it comes to Brunello. I'll swallow it. I love this style Brunello the most. A little bit more savory, a little bit more, quote, leaner, a little more Burgundy style. Oh, beautiful wine.
This is really the traditional way of producing a good Brunello in large oak with the traditional process. And this Brunello here is 2015. 2015 has been very warm here.
Compared to a lot of 15s I have, the tannins are much more fine grained.
Biondi Santi's greatest and rarest wine is the Brunello di Montalcino Riserva.
Italy's iconic wines. My first time tasting it. A lot more of the leather notes, which I go crazy about, obviously because it's got more bottle age, a little more development, but this really smells like, I don't smoke often, but I do like great cigars once in a while, and it smells to me like a humidified cigar box. It's a mixture of earth. Some people say earth is a generic thing, but that's the perfect analogy, walking through the forest in length.
12 Riserva, 13 Riserva is really what we are looking for. It doesn't explode in your mouth. It's not like this, but it's more like this in the mouth.
Makes us think that it will be, a vintage that will have the stamina to go on for a very, very long time.
If people can hold on to them.
If people can hold on to them.
Yeah.
Really so surprised how savory these wines are. I really like to drink Brunello young. I don't mind the tannins.
With food, very often I would say with the younger wines.
Now onto the ultra-rare 1983 Riserva.
If you buy the 83 today, it will come with a back label that says that the wine has only left the winery this year.
I cannot believe still how the fruit has still stayed fresh in this and not become dried.
So my suggestion is to buy at least 3 bottles and taste in different moments, because that's the experience of Biondi Santi. You can do these things with Biondi Santi.
Back at Avignonesi, it all comes home for me. The estate changed ownership in 2008, and Max tells me why he loves Tuscany and Vino Nobile di Montepulciano.
I think I like the place, and I like the type of wine that are produced here. What I like about the Nobile, it's at the same time daily wine and a wine of exception. It's probably the most versatile of the Sangiovese from Tuscany. Vino Nobile has its own merits and should be considered as such.
I think now my ambition is going further. One being improving the safety of the workers as much as we can, because accidents in vineyards and in cellars are frequent and can often be deadly. And then last but not least, making ever better wines. I have always been very impressed by my visits in Burgundy, and that's a bit what we are trying to do.
Max and Virginie opened several vintages of their top red wines, starting with the iconic Grandianate.
Just smelling them all, 16 is like really fresh. Because 15 you can see age, but it's fine. But 16 is quite fresh.
For me, it's a pleasure to be tasting those 4 vintages as well again, and I quite like the 11 because we're already, of course, it's 10 years old. Almost. 2016 is beautiful, but of course it's a baby now.
My favorite wine from the estate is the new label, Progetto di Sopra.
I can tell 17 was, it was warmer, right? But it's much more solar and broader shoulder than 16. Oh, it's still good though. It's my favorite wine of the estate because it's subtle and understated, very Burgundy-like. Something that a lot of people can overlook a lot of times.
Today, the wine that blows all of us away is the 1988 Desiderio, which is 100% Merlot.
It's also a wine that gives you a lot of emotion. I think 88. I feel embarrassed again. That's a Sangiovese nut. It's like really high-class right bank Bordeaux to you.
Surprisingly young and fresh. Enfin, it doesn't show its age.
We're all blown away by that. This is the beautiful thing about wine. You can get surprised time and time again. Yes. Desiderio 88, right?
Yeah.
Grandianate 16.
16 and this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really above par.
My time at these two legendary estates has come to a close. Tuscany never fails to sweep me off my feet. This visit has strengthened my love for the region and the wines. Fortunately, my time isn't up in Tuscany, and there's a lot more to come. It's going to be hard to top the wines of Avignonesi and Biondi Santi, but I'm open for surprises. There's a lot more Sangiovese to come. Stay tuned to the channel for more.